For new Michigan teachers, the average starting salary is almost $39,000. But new legislation before Congress aims to change that and the ongoing teacher shortage exacerbated by the pandemic.
Now, over the last 6 months, Fox 17 has sat down with a number of educators to talk about the state of teaching. And as Ruta Olsonida shows us, they all told us repeatedly that raising pay is only one part of the rebuilding the teacher workforce.
As Dave Schmidt walks around his classroom,
yeah, they're different groups than yesterday.
He has a message for his students.
Don't stress too much about it.
Helping his fourth graders and reminding himself.
This is a way for me to find balance, and it works for me to find that I get to give to kids and I get to help kids, but at the same time, I'm also getting my bucket filled by these kids.
Filling his bucket through teaching for the last 8 years.
It's my small way of fixing the world.
All while trying to make a difference.
I can't solve everything, but I can solve a small corner of the world every year, and with 26 minds every year. And that constantly inspires me, and it gives me hope.
Hope in a time when many teachers are burnt out. And as some put it,
there's just a whole array of what I would call attacks on public education.
State Board of Education member and professor at Michigan State University, Dr. Mitchell Robinson, trains future teachers.
I've got a fair number of teachers that are grads of our program who have left the profession over the last 3 or 4 years. And when I talk to them, one-on-one, it's not pay that pushed them out. It's a lack of respect.
We want to change the public perception of what it means to be a teacher in our country.
Ellen Sherritt with the Teacher Salary Project says it's about respect, which starts with a living wage.
The latest data from the annual survey of the American teachers showed that 35% of teachers say they're likely to quit, and the number one reason as to why is low teacher pay.
Pay isn't as good as it could be, and there's not as many there's a lot of stressors that kind of add up with teachers, and they can get burnt out.
Enter the American Teacher Act, federal legislation co-authored by the Teacher Salary Project that would raise the minimum salary for teachers to $60,000 a year.
Sometimes it feels nice to say, "Oh, our teachers don't care about salaries. They're not in it for the money," which is true, but they are motivated by finances, as anybody is.
It would also invest in a new public awareness campaign to showcase the value of teaching and encourage students to consider it as a career.
This is such an important bill.
West Michigan Democratic Congresswoman Hillary Skolton is one of 6 Michigan representatives to co-sponsor this bill.
For so many people across West Michigan, not only teachers, but the families who rely on teachers to educate their children and increasingly care for their social emotional health.
According to the National Education Association, nationwide, the average starting salary for teachers is almost $43,000. In Michigan, it's about $4,000 less. And that starting salary is roughly $8,000 under the recommended minimum living wage for a parent and a child.
It's a floor, not a ceiling.
The legislation aims to raise salaries for experienced teachers as well.
So it would additionally make sure that there are grants available to help other teachers at that mid-tier range to be brought up as well.
The funding would come from grants and federal dollars in order to help schools reach that new salary benchmark. And districts able to meet that already will not have to apply.
This is targeted towards low-income neighborhoods as a priority first, of which Grand Rapids would certainly qualify.
However, the legislation faces an uphill battle in a GOP-controlled House. Of these 73 co-sponsors, only one is a Republican.
This bill isn't going anywhere.
Congressman Tim Walberg, a Republican representing Michigan's 5th District, sits on the Education and Workforce Committee. If picked up, that committee would be the first stop for the American Teacher Act.
To mandate a salary level for teachers sounds wonderful, but doesn't happen any other place. Those are negotiated things.
He believes raises should be merit-based.
I think education is crucial to our future. Then it ought to have a merit base as well, and not just simply we're going to give you $60,000 whether you deserve it or not.
And that salaries and support should be up to the local districts.
I don't think a teacher should be forced to have to buy the crayons or the paper or the construction paper for their classrooms. I mean, if that's the case, then I think we need to look at other areas of what's taking those dollars and making it difficult for those teachers to do what they want to do and a passion that they have.
A sentiment Dr. Robinson agrees with.
I think a lot of teachers don't feel supported by either by their administration or by the community that they work in. And if we can somehow flip the script on that, those teachers can lead us through a lot of this. But I think it comes back to valuing and listening to teachers.
Listening to our teachers while our kids
Stay strong, friends.
listen to them.
I think that the idea that this teaching can solve the world's problems, I mean, that's why I'm a teacher.
And with the start of school just weeks away, filling teacher staffing gaps is a top priority for districts. Data from the Government Accountability Office shows that between 2019 and 2021, public education lost about 233,000 teachers.
Now, the American Teacher Act has only been introduced. It has not yet been taken up officially by the House Education and Workforce Committee, so we will continue to keep you updated on any developments.